Welcome, reading one. I'm feeling the need to go darker, and if spirit doesn't let me, then I won't do it. But I thought it might be fun to look at it like this while I explain the reading. I was going to do an intro like for the whole thing, but I feel like I want to do an intro for each reading because it's very intricate. In real time, today is November 4th, 2025. I love my numbers, so it is a 6 day, if that means anything to anybody. I believe they're going to have me, I don't know when they're going to have me post this actually. I don't know if they're going to have me do this tonight or tomorrow. Um, but in real time, it's nighttime. And I was excited when they said they wanted me to do these readings at night because it's just getting closer and closer to the peak. So we are probably about maybe 8 or 9 hours away from the full moon at its peak, its super moonness. So it's the full moon in Taurus, which is earth energy. It is a Libra moon, which is air energy. And we are in Scorpio season, which is water energy. And happy birthday to our Scorpios. I knew a Scorpio whose birthday was today. So, okay. So you chose this title, which is The Show Must Go On. And it's the version, because there's actually many artists who have done songs called The Show Must Go On, but they're all not the same. This particular one is from Pink Floyd The Wall. So if Spirit calls me to, I'll put a link in the description box for you to listen to the whole album. And your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to listen to the whole album from beginning to end. It's a very meditative experience, seriously. So I highly recommend it. So today we are working with the Tarot Spreads book, and the one that called to us, I actually did a group reading and a November forecast update, I guess you'd call it. I'll put a link for that as well in the description box. But I did that for the tribe, a group reading. It was really powerful. And we worked with the Wisdom of the Avalon deck, and we also work with the Butterfly Spirit, which was really powerful for everything that we've all been going through. And this reading that I'm doing for you today has been building up for quite some time. So it was really powerful the way this came together. And this is the reading. Now, I don't know if we'll be able to get the whole picture in there. I'm going to try. You see it? Hold on. I'm trying to get the light in there. Okay, you see it? So Spirit had me pull your cards actually a little early. I haven't seen them. I take a lot of measures to try not to see your cards either, because I think it's fun for both of us. So what we're going to be doing is the pentagram has 5 separate cards. Now, if I had, a different setup or whatever, I would lay them out just like they did in the book, but instead they're just going to go straight across. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now when I was putting this together, I wasn't sure. I'm like, so what is there a theme? Is it just different for each reading? But the interesting thing is this has 5 cards, and it comes from chapter 5 in the book, which is called Searching and Finding. So I'm kind of going to leave that up to each reading to kind of decide like what that means to them. But for an overall blanket, because it's a full moon energy and a super moon, I feel like it's something like, what is something really big, like super big in your life that you need to release? You know what I mean? So keep that in mind as well as we go through each card. So let's just dive in. Okay, so for number 1, we have, this is where you came from. Ooh, look at that. I gotta get my, hold on, I gotta get my bookmark back. Actually, I gotta find a way to keep this book open. Maybe I'll put I'll use this crystal. Wonderful. Lovely. Okay. So this is where you came from. And it's the 5 of Needles. And it's in reverse. So I'm curious to see, but I want you to be able to see the card itself as well. Let's bring some light in here. I mean, that's the Oogie Boogie Man, and that's Jack Skellington. If you're not familiar with The Nightmare Before Christmas, that's the Oogie Boogie Man, and that's Jack Skellington. So in the book, they have representations like in other tarot decks where it's like cups, wands, whatever. In this one, I'm going to read them to you. They have the suit of potions, deals with emotions, personal connections with family or friends, and relationships, and it corresponds to the element of water. So makes sense, right? Like potions, liquid water. The suit of candles is associated with ideas, creativity, inspiration, and ambition, and it corresponds to the element of fire. And if you're even, and so the water would be cups. So the suit of potions would be cups, right? In the standard tarot, which means the element of fire would be wands. Then the suit of needles, which is this card, refers to the mind, intellect, power, judgment, and personal beliefs. It corresponds to the element of air, which would be swords. So think of this, and also think of like needles, like metal, swords. I try to remember that. I don't use this deck all the time. And then the suit of presence is associated with aspects of the material world and our relationship to it, such as finances, career, property, home, and the ego. It also corresponds to the element of earth, which would be pentacles. Okay? So I'll leave that out there. So let's see what the 5 of Needles has to say in reverse. It's always fun to play with decks I don't play with all the time. Okay. So the 5 of Needles in reverse says, it represents the period after a battle when it's time to shake hands and move on. Ooh, talk about release. Who do you need to shake hands with and move on? Ooh, heavy duty reading one. Okay, because this is number 1. This is where you came from. So I guess the truth would be, so if this is where you came from and this is your past, so it'd be a period after a battle when it's time to shake hands and move on. You've had a moment to settle your bets and cool off. Let bygones be bygones and move on with your head held high. Wow, okay. So this is where you came from. That's interesting. Also, there it does feel like that too, like this, it's like a standoff. You know what I mean? Like, and it does kind of look like they're cowering because in the movie, the Oogie Boogie Man, I mean, Jack's really tall, but the Oogie Boogie Man's pretty big too. And it almost looks like he's shrinking. And it was in reverse. I feel like for shits and giggles, I want to read the upright too. It says, this is the ultimate battle card. Are you fighting an Oogie Boogie in your life? Conflict can be uncomfortable, but sometimes it's inevitable. You'll need to be agile and clever to gain the upper hand. Good luck. This is where you came from. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so number 2 is this is where you're going. That's awesome. So it's the Hierophant. Wow, this is where you're going. So he's the mayor. Just so you know, like he's the mayor of the little town. So That's pretty cool. This is where you're going. Let's see where you're going. Hold on, I have to put my heater. It was so cold in here, and then I got myself all ready, and then once I started lighting all the candles, I'm like, holy crap, it's really hot in here. So, okay. Um, so number 2, this is where you're going, the Hierophant. Did it say a number on there? Is that number 5? If that's number 5, that's crazy because the other one was 5. It is! 5s are changing transformation! 2 5s in a row. What's going on? Big changes, big changes, big changes. So it says the Hierophant is a teacher and a leader who values traditions, rules, and order just as much as the mayor of Halloween Town. Yeah, that's right. He's the mayor of Halloween Town. Oh my God, this is so good. I'm sorry. I love this deck so much. It makes me so happy. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, but I don't watch it. I used to watch it all the time, and then I stopped watching it because like every like 5 years I watch it again. And so it feels like I'm like hanging out with old friends, but because the deck isn't one I use all the time, it's like hanging out with old friends in my spiritual world. But like growing up and like the Nightmare Before Christmas and all that was like I never thought it would be in this world. So anyway, thank you for listening to that. It's powerful, right? I mean, we don't realize like how much things have an effect on us. So it says, do you have a trusted mentor in your life? Whether they're an elected official like the mayor or a teacher, community leader, or spiritual counselor, look to them for guidance. Even if you don't agree with all their ideas and processes, learning from them will help you form your own opinions and how to manage your life. So this is where you're going. So you're going towards being a teacher and a leader, but you're not quite there yet. But this is a really cool story. I feel like that's exactly what's happening. It's like we're having like this little story that's happening. Okay, so the third one is, this is what is difficult for you. Okay, you guys, this is what's difficult for you. The 10 of Presents, which would be the 10 of Pentacles. This is what's difficult for you. So there's some scarcity or poverty consciousness going on there. That's what's difficult for you. Let's read what it says. The 10 of Presents. It's a card of completion and wealth. It represents a happy home life, lasting success, and financial abundance. Take the 10 of Presents as a sign. Things are going to work out in your favor. So this is what's difficult for you. I feel like you're having, because of like past stuff and like where you came from, this kind of energy, like maybe you always had to like fight people or fight situations or fight for what you needed or fight for what you wanted. So you're having a really hard time actually believing that it's going to happen, that it's going to come true. But I feel like maybe you need like one more step. Also, my eyes keep coming to this. Do you see this? It looks like a little heart. And the color is green. So I'm hearing from spirit, it's your heart chakra is blocked. Your heart chakra is blocked. So let's see, number 4. This is what makes sense. Oh, it's interesting that you have one like that, like this is what makes sense. Huh. That's interesting. By the way, they're not having me read the 10 of Presents in reverse right now, but I feel like I might. Oh, Santa Claus. So it's 12, the Hanged Man. And I think this was one of those, I'm going to read it upright and reverse because I feel like this was one of those that flipped out when I was doing it, and it was kind of sideways. So my gut's telling me this was the one. And if not, it doesn't matter because I feel like they still want me to read it. So number 12, the Hanged Man. Interesting too that I didn't even think about this until now, but like this is 5 and this is 5 and that's 10. You know what I mean? Like, and then the next one's 12. So it's almost like there's a little stagnation going on here because a lot of changes have to happen. And for each one of you, it's going to be different, but there's definitely something that needs to be released, and it's major. Now, listen, we all have things that we have to work on. We all have things. I had something come through today that like stopped me in my tracks, like made me want to cry, made me like just want to stop everything, give up, whatever. But then you know what? After a few hours, I made peace with it and I was like, okay, I know what I need to do. And I got the vibe from Spirit. I'm like, should I start today? Should I start tomorrow? And they're like, no, you're always telling everybody else, right? It's not a light switch moment. So for some of you, it might be. For some of you, it may just be like, you're like, that was it. That's the last thing I needed to hear. Thank you. And you'll take that next step tomorrow and you'll move on. For some of you, it might take you another few weeks. It might take you a few months. These are always timeless messages, but in real time, it's November 4th. We are literally about to hit the peak of this full moon, this beaver moon, and then we are going to be going, Mercury is going retrograde on the 9th. It's been a hell of a year. Don't punish yourself, don't torture yourself. But what I am getting from Spirit for all of us is that we need to at least start making the steps. So after this reading today, even if it's just making the decision to release whatever this is from your life, it could be a person, place, thing, situation, addiction. It could be anything. It's going to be different for all of you. But in mid-February, we're going to be going from the year of the snake into the year of the horse. So while we're in this snake energy, this is the time to release, rebirth, let go. Maybe for some of you, that's why they had me choose this deck, because you want to enjoy the rest of the year and you're like, you know what, fuck it. I want to have a nice Thanksgiving. I want to have a nice, whatever that's the first thing that came to my mind. But by the end of the year and by the 2026, the January of the Gregorian calendar, it's about making that commitment and that promise to yourself. But also, if you found yourself here, you're a powerful light worker. That's my job. I'm the healer for the healers. I help other light workers find their way, find their path, find their voice. And if you're pulled to, because it did say in that card to work with a mentor, I'm here for you. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, I do work on a sliding scale. And not only that, but I'm going to start doing some live private sessions that'll be on a donation basis on this channel. But remember that prayer is free too. And it's about the intention. For some of you, you don't need me. You're already there. That's why they got the 10 of presents. You're already partying it up over there. Let me see if I can get in there and look at that. You're partying it up. I feel like even though this is 3, I feel like this needs to go in front. So you need to see that like you deserve this wealth. You deserve all of these things. There's definitely somebody, there's at least one person in here that has a really, well, my throat chakra doesn't like to even talk about it, but there's definitely a poverty consciousness going on, hardcore. And some of you, like, you really love Christmas. If you watch the original Sex and the City series, when Charlotte decides to no longer be Episcopalian and she decides to be, she crosses over to Judaism for her husband because it's really important to him and she wants their children to be raised the same. And she said, it's really not that big of a deal to me. And he's like, honey, you can still keep certain traditions. We can do both. It's okay. And she's like, no, I don't want to be a meat-eating vegetarian. She's like, if I'm going to be Jewish, then I'm going to be Jewish. And so her last Christmas, they decide to like have this, they really do it up, and she's okay with it. She's like, you know what? I'm ready to close that chapter of my life. So it could be something like that too. Like maybe you need like one last hurrah over this holiday season, or maybe you need more time and energy to like really let it sink in that certain changes must take place. They must take place, because that's what I'm feeling. So let's go back into number 4. Okay, that was like a little sidebar that needed to be said. Number 4, this is what makes sense. By the way, Spirit wants me to say that I know that obviously this was written, I love the deck and all that good stuff, but like, or excuse me, the book, but Spirit wants me to kind of rephrase that. It says this is what makes sense, meaning like, this is what makes sense to me in this release, in this path, number 4. So I'm going to read the whole thing. It says the hangman represents a great pause, unexpected delays, and the need for a shift in perspective. In this deck, the hangman is represented by Sandy Claus, who's been captured in Oogie Boogie's lair. In the upright position, life is unpredictable and your circumstances can change very quickly. It's easy to get caught up in plans, goals, and thinking about the future. But the hanged man reminds you it's important to pause every once in a while, focus on the present, and appreciate where you are in life. If not, a villainous boogeyman might just show up and do it for you. Right? So that's like Spirit's kind of saying like, right, like if you don't make the certain changes, if you don't go towards those certain goals, they're going to do it for you, especially if it's in your soul contract. Like they'll pull people out of your life. You'll get laid off from that job. You're like, I've been there for 18 years. And Spirit's like, yeah, but you're not supposed to be there anymore. I mean, I could tell you so many stories of how many things that happened to me on my path that led me to where I am today. So the reverse says, are you feeling stuck, trapped, or caught up in an unexpected situation that seems dire? Maybe you're facing unforeseen setbacks that have put your progress on hold, or you're feeling listless and lacking direction. Right now, give up a bit of control. Try to work with new circumstances instead of against them, and things will turn out as they're supposed to. You might be happily surprised by where you end up if you go with the flow, right? So you're trying to do what you think makes sense, and Spirit's like, but we're trying to show you that like that's an old thinking pattern, that's an old process, and they're trying to give you like the new story, the real you. They're trying to push you into like who you truly are. And as we've seen here, you are a leader. You are a leader. You are a spiritual guru. I literally just heard from Spirit. You are some type of spiritual guru, and some of you are going to heal through food. It's going to be a whole new experience for you. It's really powerful. Okay, so then the last one is, this is your ultimate goal. Ooh, what's your ultimate goal? Oh, I had a feeling, look at this. I had a feeling there was one stuck there. Look at that. There is 2 here. There are 2. Look at this. They're like really stuck together. But this is your ultimate goal, and it's in reverse. So, it's Temperance. So Temperance is also Sagittarius, and we have a lot. Oh my gosh, you see that fall? We have a lot of Sagittarius in our group. Oh my gosh. Does that say the imposter? The Emperor. You guys, I swear on all that is holy, I thought it said the imposter, and it was in reverse. You're not an imposter. Your Emperor energy. Also, there's a lot of masculine energy here, you guys. It's almost all masculine energy. So I'm getting the vibe from Spirit. Also, I just heard the mirror, and this is number 4. This is really powerful. We have a lot of Sagittarius in our tribe. So this may be for you guys, or you may be dealing with a Sagittarius, or it could be Sagittarius season. It's right around the corner. And the way that everything's been going, like right now, we are in the Libra moon, but the Libra moon didn't come in. We had Libra season, then the Libra moon came in, and the very next day was Scorpio season. This month, it's very similar, except for it's 2 days. And then it kind of feels like it goes then 3. Then I don't know. I have to get a new calendar for next year. But anyway, but it's really interesting because we're not getting, it's like we're almost getting like 2 doses of it, meaning like Sagittarius season will be coming up in a few weeks, but then we won't have the new moon in Sagittarius until almost like the third week. It's like right before winter solstice, summer solstice for our Southern Hemisphere family. Like right around there. And then that Sagittarius moon will go into Capricorn in a few days, and then but it'll be the Sagittarius, you know what I'm saying? So these energies, I feel like Spirit's doing this for a reason, to kind of like cradle over these energies to help us kind of like find our footing and like kind of reset, if that makes any sense. And I kind of feel like that's where you guys are. So it could even be that it's during the Sagittarius season and or the Sagittarius moon. But you know what I just noticed is that's Sally making a potion. Hold on. Okay. So there's your divine feminine. But it was stuck on top of the Sandy Claus. So the vibe I'm getting from Spirit is that like the Temperance and the Emperor, this is about getting yourself in a full balance. Like we're in the Libra moon right now. It's a full moon in Taurus, but it's the Libra moon. Libras are all about balance. And I feel like this is about getting your divine feminine and your divine masculine balanced and in check. And even like just now, like, I mean, I feel like he's looking at her. But you know what's interesting? Is do you see how the way this card falls? It almost looks like he's looking at her breasts. And this may be a situation for some of you guys. You know, maybe some of the reason why you're struggling in the money department is because, you know, if you are, you know, a divine feminine forward in this lifetime, maybe you struggle with that. You know, maybe you struggle with being objectified or being sexualized. That's a very real thing, you know, and I know because I've gone through that too. I mean, there's been several instances in this reading that I feel very close knit where I'm like, oh, I mean, this is the first reading, so I don't know about the other ones, but I definitely align with you reading one. There's so much in here for me too. I will say this, if this is like going in a romantic way, I do feel like for some of you, and this makes me happy if this is part of my story, but I felt it when the cards fell apart. I feel like for a long time, you haven't been able to like find like your person, but I feel like you're going to find them. And for some of you, it could be someone that you already know. And it could be because they're like oogling, oogie boogie. They're oogling the breasts. I'm like, it's so difficult when it's like mine too, because most of the time when I'm reading for people, it's not always my story, but this one is like almost feels like a personal reading for me. But I know there's other things in here that aren't for me, so I apologize. But in my personal story, I'm gonna share this just because this could be for you too. But it could be that your divine masculine has a wandering eye, and that's something that, you know, I don't know if they'll ever change that, you know. I always hope that people will grow out of things. But I remember my mom said to me once, I said, do men ever grow up? And my mom, she didn't even bat an eye and she goes, no, they do not. I said, come on. And she's like, in my experience, they can evolve and they can change and they can grow. She's like, but she's like, no, she's like, in my experience, she's like, they really don't. It's bizarre. She's like, I don't know if it's because, you know, women inherently, you know, are the, you know, baby carriers, you know, whatever. My mom always tried to look at things for the benefit of the doubt, but there are just some people are just programmed a certain way. So don't take it personally. That's the main thing I'm getting from Spirit. So, and it's interesting because it says this is your ultimate goal. And that's what I feel like that's exactly what it is. Your ultimate goal is to have your own divine feminine and divine masculine balanced and good and clean and clear. And also to whichever one you align with, right? To find your other person, you know? We're not meant to be alone. We're not. We're really not. We're meant to have alone time. We're meant to, have, you know, even for some of us light workers, right? Like we like long periods of time alone, but we're not meant to just be alone or just live alone. We're not meant to. It's just, in my experience, that's not the way it works. So I hope this helped you in any way. So just remember, this is where you came from. This is where you're going. Hold on. This is where it's difficult for you. This is what makes sense. And this is your ultimate goal. Okay? Let me see if Spirit has anything else. Did you want me to go in and read any more from the book? Okay. So they want me to read, do you want me to read the Sandy Claus and the, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. They're saying Sandy Claus first. Interesting. So it is interesting though, the Emperor and the Hierophant. I mean, that's like massive. And Temperance. I mean, you're a powerful person. We're powerful people. Did we read the oh yeah, we did. Okay. 4. What did I say this one was? So Temperance in this deck is 14, which is also the number 5. Oh, isn't that interesting? Because 12, the Hanged Man, comes out to the number 3. And then this one is 14, which comes out to the number 5. And this one is 4. So technically, it would be like 3, 4, 5. And it kind of makes sense that way too, because Sandy Claus, it's almost like, it's like your divine masculine is the Hanged Man. And it makes sense. All of our divine masculine, you know, that's what's happening right now on the planet, is the crushing and the recreation of the, you know, divine masculine, and taking it out of these old paradigms and bringing it into like the balance and level that it was supposed to be. Nobody wants to, it's this power play, this power struggle, and it's so silly because it's really just us fighting ourselves then at the end of the day, you know, when you think about it. Which makes sense now why he wants, why Spirit wanted me to read the Emperor first, Sandy Claus. Okay, so the Emperor, let me get my glasses on. The Emperor, like Sandy Claus, uses calm commands, practicality to take control and save the day. In the upright, the Emperor is a level-headed ruler and paternal figure who creates order, stability, and routine. And see, I think routine's coming up, you know, and this has been coming up for me too. It's a really big deal. You know, like, you don't have to have every single day be the same, but it's definitely good to keep up a routine of some kind. I know last summer, just from like, I don't know, several weeks when I did Sacred Sunday, I really looked forward to it every Sunday, of having that connection, and just even just having that one thing to do every week made me feel like really connected, made me feel and made me like do other things too. It's like, oh, I should do this because on this day I'm going to do this. And then I started kind of falling into a pattern, and it was nice to fall away from it. But I've been noticing that it does make a difference to have a little bit of a routine. And maybe that's what needs to happen with you guys. Either you're lacking a routine, or maybe your routine needs to change. So muster your confidence, square your shoulders, and get ready to step into a powerful role. Rather than trying to completely reinvent the wheel, rely on structure, order, and practicality to be the best leader you can be. And in reverse, it says, is there a major power struggle going on in your life right now? It could be you're feeling paralyzed. If someone's walking all over you, stand up for yourself, examine and reassess your plans and daily routines, and don't be afraid to shake things up. I think this kind of comes back to this one, you guys, that it said that was in your past, but maybe because it says this is where you came from. So maybe you came from a family where, you know, it was hard for you to stand up for yourself. And, you know, and now you're finding yourself in relationships where it's happening like that again, where you're like, you know, why am I not Why am I not taking more control over my own life? Is kind of the vibe I'm getting from Spirit. Okay, so then our last one is Temperance. Oh, guys, it opened up to it. I love when that happens, especially when it's like kind of a new crisp book and it's not like it's used to being like opened there. Okay. So it says, like pouring magical potions into a cauldron, temperance represents the act of combining different elements together in perfect harmony. The message of temperance is moderation. Now isn't the time for excess or extremes, so make sure you're maintaining balance in your life. What did we just say about maintaining the divine feminine and divine masculine within? Also, I'm hearing from finances too. And for the holidays, do not overspend. Don't do it. You don't have to. If you don't want to be part of a grab bag or something like that, be like, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be, want to do that. I don't want, if people don't like it, they don't like it. That's okay. I mean, I feel like this is for at least one person. Then they can lump it. But remember earlier, Spirit was talking about this, embracing the flow, right? And not doing it all at once. You know what you need to do. Just look at it as like February is like your deadline, By mid-February, you want to be at least halfway, if not fully, into these changes, or at least implementing them into your life. The reverse says, if life is feeling hectic, it's time to bring things back into balance. Pay attention to areas of your life that may be a little neglected. The recipe for success requires a pinch of self-reflection and a dash of temperance. Stir thoroughly and enjoy. Also, I heard, remember that it's Sagittarius energy, which is fire. So, don't let things ruffle your feathers or work you up or get you, you know what I mean? I feel like you guys know what you need to do. You're very powerful healers. You're very powerful leaders. And let me tell you something. It takes time for real change to be implemented. And in my experience, it takes at least 7 days to make a change and 30 days to make it stick. And when you keep at it, and if you fall off and you don't do it one day, then you get back and you do it again. And you just got to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it until it becomes habit. Just like whatever you're in right now that you're having a hard time letting go of, it was just another habit. Whether it was injected into your life from your family, your friends, your school, your whatever, significant other, this is the time to like really look at yourself. And you may want to check out the group reading because it was all about going into the hermit mode for November. Like I said, these are always timeless, of course, but if you're watching it in real time, and even when you watch it not in real time, do your best to, work through it as quickly as you can. But this isn't a contest and it's not a race. It's about making it stick. And I remember one time I'd said, I was trying to lose weight and I was asking different people when I was younger, I'm in my 50s now, but there was always fad diets. They're always around. But I was just like, how do I do this, And the one thing they said to make it stick, they're like, it's literally like you have to want to do it. And you can't do it for anybody else. It has to be for you. It has to be because you want to change, because you're ready to change, because you see yourself in a different light. And you know that you have something powerful to do, something powerful to give. And I love that the abundance card is kind of in the middle of the 10 of presents, right? And if you kind of look at it, it almost looks like everybody's going this way towards the 10 of presents, So use the tools in your toolbox that you know how to use, and the ones that you don't, study, learn, grow, and above all, be patient with yourself and with others while you're going through this process. Okay, Spirit, do we have any more messages for reading 1 before we move on? Okay, that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. All of my information is on this channel and in the description box. Always look for all the fun little extra treats that are in there from Spirit, or extra readings or things like that. But seriously, I love you. Please love yourself. Take good care of yourselves. Until next time, blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, reading 2. You chose the Everyday Witch Tarot, and your theme is Home by Philip Phillips. And I will put a link in the description box for the song. Your reading is so different from reading 1. So I'm going to come at this as gently and lovingly as possible. Blessed full moon in Taurus. We are also in a supermoon energy. I would say sadly, but I never say sadly when it comes to a fun rainstorm. But there's a rainstorm happening right now during your reading, so I cannot see the moon, but I'm sure if I went outside, it's probably dipping in and out of the clouds. Here's the interesting thing. As an empath, I feel like there's some serious hesitation here because, as you know, in the full moon energy, it's all about celebration and release. And I do love, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I do love that on the cover, oh, what's going on there? On the cover there, we have this witch who is celebrating, and they're hanging out with their cat. They're having the best time ever. Everything's awesome, right? Like that's the full moon celebration that we all love, right? It's about the release. We can breathe, we can let go. But I do feel like for some of you, there's a bit of a hesitation. And the song is called Home. But one of my favorite parts of the song is he's like, settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. The troubles, they might get you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone, because I'm going to make this place your home. And I've been getting this a lot from the tribe, a lot of homesick energy, because we're getting closer to our true selves. There's such a heavy death going on right now within all of us. It's like outwardly, we can see the wars, we can see the changes, we can see so many things, but at the same time, we can also feel that these changes are here. We can feel that it is time to release and let go of certain parts of ourselves. And it can be sad because it feels like a death. So I was drawn to do this reading. And if you haven't watched it yet, there was a really great group reading. There'll be a link in the description box, but I did a great group reading yesterday. In real time, today is November 4th. It's nighttime, but we're not many hours away now from the full moon at its peak, at its most potent energy. I don't know if you can hear the rain, but I'm feeling a roller coaster of emotions with your reading. But how this came together was through this really great book. I had it all set up here, but I want you to be able to see it. And let's pull back of it too. So here is, I don't want to get in any, here is our reading. It's the pentagram. And it's 5 cards. It's a 5-card reading. And it's from chapter 5 of the book, which is interesting. And 5s are about change and transformation. And of course, tomorrow is the full moon, which is a 5. And interesting that in reading 1, I brought up the fact that I'm doing this on the 4th. And I said, oh, it's a 6th day. But for you, I feel like I kind of saw like a trifecta, like 3 5s. And there's definitely some big change or transformation that's going to happen for your reading too. Even if it's something that you may not even know or understand that's happening behind the scenes, it's good. So we're going to talk about this. because like I said, I'm really feeling this heavy energy from you right now. But I kept getting this over and over from Spirit. Remember the 5th of November. And then I was like, oh yeah, because November 5th is the full moon in Taurus. I'm like, that's so interesting. But it's also a super moon. So it can really amplify our emotions, our feelings, our goals, our aspirations. So here are the 5 questions. And keep in mind, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The first one is, this is where you come from. The second one is, this is where you're going. The third is, this is what is difficult for you. And 4, this is what makes sense. And 5, this is your ultimate goal. But since, we are in the release just as much as we're celebrating, we need to look into what needs to be released. So for the first card, we have, this is where you came from. Interesting. Number 2, this is where you're going. Oops. Ooh, this is interesting. Like why it doesn't want it, like all of a sudden it just doesn't want to stand up now. Okay. Number 3, this is what is difficult for you. Oh, jeez, please. Oh. Number 4, this is what makes sense. And number 5, this is your ultimate goal. I want you to take a minute to kind of look at it. See what's going on. Sometimes these stay up so easily and sometimes they fight me. So I got the vibe from Spirit to put them all out at once. And now I'm wondering if that's why they're falling, because maybe I misunderstood them. So just remember, if they're in the reverse or the upright, Spirit will call me to read both meanings. So let's start with the first one. This is where you came from. It's the 2 of Wands. I was trying to see if that was like a little, I'm like, is that a lizard? Yeah, it's like a little lizard. I thought the lighting would be good for this, but I don't know if you guys can see it that good. Okay, that's better. I'll do it from this side. The 2 of Wands. I kind of feel like this wants to go in front of here. Maybe that's why. It almost feels like this one wants to be over here. Also, it's not going into focus, and I feel like I may have jumped the gun. It's almost like I want this one to be in the, like they don't want you to see it yet, but you can see it. Does that make any sense? Like obviously you can see it, but like they don't want you to look too closely at it. Okay, so this is where you came from, the 2 of Wands. It's actually really cool because like I can go through each question and tell you what I kind of think, but I feel like this is more of like I'm the narrator for your story, and each of you have your own story and what you need to release, let go of, like all that good stuff. And so it feels very individualized, if that makes any sense. So it's like they want me to read from it. There's a lot going on. You guys, I don't know. It's so jumpy. This reading's super jumpy. What's going on with you guys? Okay, so this is where you came from. It says, this card represents partial success. While others may think you hold the world in the palm of your hand, you may still feel like you're unsure of where to go next. Such scenarios occur when an unexpected promotion or career advancement leaves you feeling unsure of what to do next. There is a partial success, and you may feel like you are at the halfway point of your personal goals. There are choices and serious decisions to be made, but look around you. There is help, support, and advice from a mentor. Take their good advice and enjoy this new business or career opportunity. Finally, this card can symbolize a successful business partnership. So I'm wondering if this could be, since they spoke of partnerships, and two is, because in the card, I mean, obviously, they're by themselves, but they've got two animals there. So I feel like this could be for some of you, it's career, and for some of you, it could be for like a relationship, only because I saw relationship like in my head. But when this started, I was like, obviously they're by themselves. So that's kind of interesting. So this is where you came from. The keywords are preparation for a favorable change, partial success, good advice from a mentor, and successful business partnerships. Now it's upright, but for some of you, the reverse, it could be that there's possible delays, unfulfilled promises, or indecision or disillusionment of where you came from. And this could even be for some of you, like maybe somebody thought you couldn't be a success, or thought like you couldn't do this, or you couldn't, And the halfway point keeps coming up too. I feel like we're going to put a pin in that for a second. So let's go on to number 2, which is, this is where you're going. And it's in reverse, so we're going to read both. Oh, the Queen of Wands. And Wands are all about action. So we had the Two of Wands and the Queen of Wands in reverse. So this is where you're going. But it's in reverse, right? It was in reverse, so obviously you're not there yet, right? I'm going to put that next to it. I feel like it wants to be next to it. So let's go to the Queen of Wands in reverse. Isn't that rain? It says, stubbornness, anger, a manipulative woman, promises made but not kept, an individual who loves to create conflict. So maybe you're not getting where you need to go because you got to release somebody in your life, or this could be you. What's going on with the stubbornness and the anger? I'm getting the vibe that maybe it's not moving quick enough for you. Like, that could be part of it. So the astrological sign associated with this card is Aries, and the elements are fire and water. Fire is the suit of wands related natural element, while all 4 of the queens are associated with the emotional element of water. So it could be dealing with those signs. So Aries, Leo, Sag are your fire, and your water are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Keywords are a fire sign woman, a woman who's generous with her affections and successful with her family, home, and career. I mean, hi, you chose this one. It's called Home. A talented witch, a natural leader of a magical group. The ultimate multitasker. They have multitasker and then popular's next. I don't know how that came together. That is a great new word. Outgoing, fun-loving, charming, cheerful, and classy. So this is where you're going. You are going towards this. It's just right now the reverse is like either someone's in your path that's stubborn or anger, and maybe there's a manipulative divine feminine who's kind of stopping you. Promises made but not kept. Maybe it was a partnership. If it's a relationship or if it was a partnership for business, it could be that, maybe it started out really good, but then it, maybe not so good. Especially if you're a water sign. It's really difficult when you're dealing with certain signs, especially like for myself. Most of my chart is fire. So if I'm dealing with somebody with most of their chart is water, water puts out fire. So
you know, keep those kind of things in mind. It really does make a difference. So that could be something there as well. And then it says an individual who loves to create conflict. Is this you or them or both? I am seeing two women. Um, it could even be a Pisces and an Aries. I heard Pisces and then I saw the word Aries. So it could be that. That's interesting. So this is where you're going. Okay, and then number 3 is this is what is difficult for you. The Hanged Man in reverse. Oops. And this is the Everyday Witch Tarot too. So this could be somebody, you know, maybe when you started out in a business together, like, I don't know if this is you, but this is the scenario that's coming up. Like, maybe when you guys started, you were both into yoga and, you know, eating healthy and all this good stuff. But over time, you've leaned more into your true self, which is a witch. And maybe this person is too, but they're not ready, or maybe they're not at all. And, you know, maybe you guys aren't aligning. There could be something, you know, so I do feel like there's some type of partnership breaking up. Okay, this is what's difficult for you. Number 3, the Hanged Man. Let's go to the book. It's number 12. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, wait. Yeah, it is. I'm like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Okay. So the reversed is being stuck, not being able to let go or move forward. So this is what's difficult for you. You're having a hard time moving forward. The astrological association is Neptune. The deity is Odin. So you may want to work with Odin energy and divine masculine father energy to help you move forward with this. You may have to, and this also could be somebody that maybe they're used to you being a certain way, and now you need to lean into your divine masculine. No means no. And when you're done, you're done. The keywords are initiation, transitional phase of life, relax and let changes come, new outlook on life, rune magic. Maybe you're drawn to working with runes, gaining a new perspective on a current situation. It says when this card appears in a reading, it is a message to look at things from a different viewpoint. Embrace the idea of initiation as a vehicle to newer wisdom and a clearer spiritual path. Let go of the illusion of control. Turn things on their heads and look carefully at the lessons before you. Relax and be patient. This may not be easy, but fighting against the changes in your life only creates more drama. Read the signs carefully, be they tarot cards or runes. Meditate on their lessons as you allow yourself to go through this transitional or initiatory phase calmly and with joy. By doing so, you will uncover the mysteries. So, you know, the interesting thing is the thing that's holding you back is the thing that's actually going to propel you forward. You know? And that's how it is sometimes, right? Those initiation phases. Also, interesting that first we had a 2, then a queen, and then this is 12, but it comes out to the number 3. And then in between, look at this. We've got the emperor. But I mean, hello, he's sitting on a throne. He's a king, he's an emperor. I mean, it's that same kind of like energy, right? So it's kind of interesting. I feel like the more I want to bring this card forward, the more I feel like they don't want you to look too closely at it. Or maybe I was just holding it wrong. I want to look at it too because I was you guys, you got to speak your truth. Also, there's a German Shepherd on here. It looks like a German Shepherd. You may want to work with dog spirit medicine, but in particular, like a German Shepherd, because it looks like he's got a black cat on his lap as well. But they're not drawing my attention to that. And there is a cat here. There's a black cat here. So you got 2 black cats. It could be that maybe for some of you, and then there's this like lizard or gecko, you know, on the wall here. I don't know if you guys can see that. So it could be maybe it's time for at least one of you guys to get a familiar, Maybe a new one. Maybe you haven't had one in a long time. But make sure that you're like in a place that you can, really feel good about it. It could even be in the next several months, or they're just telling you like, you'll know when it's time. Also, they're drawing my attention to the hangman, and how they're hanging from a broom. Seriously, what is going on? Drink some water. Let's all drink some water. I was perfectly fine, and then it's like, I feel like someone's trying to choke me. Holy crap, when I looked down, it was 1 hour and 11 seconds. So you may see 111 or 1111 a lot, or also when I looked down, it was 119, which is 11. And here's the thing. For those of you who don't know this, in my experience and my studies and teachings and workings with spirit for a very long time, the energy that I get is wherever we come from, it's the witches, we come from the angel realm. It's a loving, healing place. Any negative feelings or thoughts you may have on witches is very old programming. And that's the way they wanted it to be. They don't want us to be pretty and sparkly. They don't want to think that this can heal us, right? Like, they're like, how can this crystal heal you? Oh, that's a bunch of malarkey bullshit. And it's like, oh, but putting something in a pill will. I mean, they've done studies. I mean, they've literally done studies of placebos where they will give some people the real medicine and they will give other people like sugar pills or like whatever they put in there, but there's no fucking medicine in there whatsoever. But yet people will come back and like their blood pressure's lower, because they took the pill, they feel better. You know what I mean? So number 4, this is what makes sense, which is the Emperor. And what is the Emperor? What number was that? Okay, this is Nutty Cuckoo. Okay, so 2, Queen, 3, 4. What? But the Queen was in reverse. And also, did you notice the dragon on there? So you may want to work with the dragon spirit medicine. I mean, look at almost every card has like, well, at least the 3 out of the 5, I can't really see. I'm not looking at the 5th one yet, but so far, 3 out of the 5 cards have animals on them. We have 3 cats, a dog, a dragon, and a lizard, which the dragon and lizard are kind of from the same too. It's very interesting. I don't know. To me, when I see things like that, it's like, I just don't think those are accidents. So number 4. The Emperor. Also, my eyes were drawn to the map on the ground in front of the Emperor. So, number 4 is this is what makes sense. So maybe some of you, I feel like I want to go in a little bit. Maybe some of you are meant to travel. I don't know, but I just think it's interesting that there's a map there. Okay, so, oh, that's so interesting, you guys. So the Emperor is also aligned with Aries. And if you are drawn to reading 1, there's very similar cards. Not the same reading, but very similar cards. Very interesting. So it could be like different insight or perspective on your situation. So the keywords are leader of a family or coven, father figure, family man, loving husband and or father, sovereignty, reason, masculine energy, protection, a responsible and balanced person. So this is what makes sense. How does that fit into this story? Let's see what this says. It says the Emperor may symbolize a leader of a family or a magical group, a responsible, balanced person. Just as the Emperor is doing in this card, you should calmly survey your situation and carefully consider your options. This card may stand, This card may stand for your boss at work. Oh, here we are going up with work again. no matter what their gender. I was just going to say that. I was going to say, you guys, just because they're talking about all this masculine energy, I feel like that's what it is, masculine energy. So it could be a woman, but, that's really throwing around that energy. Plus, Mars just went into Sagittarius or something like that in real time. Don't get me wrong. I read a lot of different things in the last few days. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the description box, but Mars is the planet of war and fiery energy, and so is Sagittarius. So it's kind of interesting because we're in the full moon in Taurus, which is Earth. The moon itself is in Libra. We are in Scorpio energy, and now Mars, if I'm saying this correctly, is in Sagittarius. It's kind of interesting because we've got all the elements present. And so far, we have your first two cards are Wands, which are fire. And then you've got the Hangman and the Emperor, which are major arcana. And we haven't fully gotten to 5 to read the description yet. But we have, what is this one? Oh, number 16, the Tower. But it's in reverse. I got to remember that that's in reverse. So that's very fucking interesting. This is very interesting. So, wow, okay. So many things are coming through. Okay, so this card may stand for your boss at work, no matter what their gender, not just a husband or a father. The Emperor card will often appear in a reading when you are up for a promotion at work, about to earn a higher degree in your coven, or even if you are taking a new job with better prospects. If you find yourself standing as the head of the family or coven and are the peacemaker and arbitrator, it is possible this card may represent your role within the group. It can also symbolize your leadership within a family dynamic or at your place of employment. The deities are associated with this card are Osiris, Zeus, Jupiter, and Divine Father, which is interesting because Jupiter is the ruling planet for Sagittarius. So there's something there. Now, it wasn't in reverse, but I want to read it because it says lack of self-discipline, authority issues, inferiority, or issues with parents. That's in the reverse. So I kind of feel like this plays into the whole thing. So this is what makes sense. I don't know. Maybe you're staying in this place because you're like, this is what makes sense right now. Like, I need a job. I need a paycheck. This is what makes sense. So I'm just going to deal with this. And they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But like, this is where you came from. Duality, the dreamer, looking at things, in like the glass is half full kind of mentality. But then it's like, I feel like wherever you are, you're not feeling like you though, because it was in reverse. Oh, sorry. I just realized I was pointing to cards and it's all zoomed in. Sorry. I was like, I was doing this whole thing and you weren't. I'm like, and you couldn't even see it. But no, I want to get back to this for a minute because I feel like this is serious. Okay. So preparation for a favorable change, partial success, good advice from a mentor, successful business partnerships. It also said something about taking their good advice and enjoy this new business or career opportunity. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe you took the wrong advice from somebody. While others think you may have the world of the palm of your hand, you may still feel like you're unsure of where to go next. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like you're really struggling with the third dimensional energy and the fifth dimensional energy. That's what it really feels like. And it's about releasing that old world. But you're like, but how do I release that world? And it's like, but these are the things that we've been talking about for years, especially those of you who've been with this tribe, this coven, this group for years. Like, Spirit has told us, like, we have to live in our truth. If we don't live in our truth, then
we're going to keep running into walls. This has been coming up a lot, but it's like those wind up toys, you know, that you could put it in the middle of the room, but if it walks into the wall, unless you turn it around, it's going to keep walking into the wall, or it might fall down and it'll keep going, but it's like spinning in place, right? And I kind of feel like that's what's happening with you right now. Okay, so then the last card and the last one is, this is your ultimate goal, which is interesting because the Tower card, it's like, I don't think you'd want the Tower card to be your ultimate goal, right? You know what I mean? It's like, who would want the Tower to be but at the same time, it is, because it's one of those things like, whether you know you need it or not, you need it. Do you know what I'm saying? Hold on, let me get to this. I want to read it. Okay, so the Tower in reverse says arguments, trauma, frustration, and destruction. Right? I want to look at this closer under the light. It's interesting, though. She's looking behind her with a smile on her face. Like, you know what it kind of reminds me of? Do you guys remember Urkel? Did I do that? Like, I kind of feel like she's like, I just blew up this whole bitch. Like, I just blew this bitch up. And she's like, did I do that? And Spirit's like, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You just blew this shit on up. I'm trying to see what's on the bottom there. It looks like an animal. Hold on, I got to get my glasses on. It's another cat, by the way, in the corner there above the 16. But yeah, like, you know, especially like, because here's the thing. I feel like it's going to be one of those, some people, everybody handles things differently. I'm trying like 5 different ways to say this in the most nice way I can. But everybody handles stress and things differently. I feel like when they're saying this is your ultimate goal, yeah, I feel like you're going to blow shit up. And that's okay, because some people need to blow things up. Some people need to, you know, blow the bridge. Some people need to, you know, I had to do something very similar with my family. By the way, when I paused it, it was 1/11/01, another 11/11. So, you know, you cannot live like, it's like you're trying to live like you're not an earth angel or a light worker, or like, you know, if you found yourself to this channel, like, you know, you have special powers and special abilities. You were brought here to change the world, like literally. And if you're just trying to be nice, or you don't know what to say or whatever, it's something's going to happen. So it's either going to happen like now over like this full moon, or maybe the next, because, you know, we're in a line of 3 supermoons. You know, the next one will be in the Scorpio moon, and it'll be the full moon in Gemini, you know. So it's like, I kind of get the vibe like, if it doesn't happen now, it's going to happen soon. Now it doesn't have to happen that way. Oh my gosh, throat chakra. Oh, I don't want you to have to go through that, but you know, sometimes you got to burn a bridge, and sometimes you got to, it doesn't mean things can't come back around. If they're meant to come back around, they will. And if they don't, they don't. And remember, there are people who are placed here to test you. There are seat fillers. There are people that you think are meant to be in your life for a long time, and they're not. You may have been at a job for 8 years, and you're like, I hate my boss. I hate my boss. And it's like, how can you go to the same place for 8 years hating your boss? Like, that's got to be so torturous. And if it's a relationship, it could be something to do with family. I just got this vibe that, at least for one of you, you're with somebody who's kind of, I'm just going to put it out there, they're kind of a mama's boy. And I think that they choose their mom over you sometimes, which is really fucked up. You know, but that tells you a lot about them. If they're choosing their parent over you, especially if the parent's toxic and they're like playing games, you know, there are some, I've been with a lot of guys where their moms, you know, they don't like me. And the reason why they don't like me is because they don't like how much their son likes me, which is kind of creepy and gross. But, you know, some people can't let go. I mean, you know,
I remember one time I was like, dude, I think your mom's like sexually into you. And they're like, ew, no. I'm like, dude, come on. I'm like, it's weird. I'm like, it's weird. She would ask me sometimes, like, if we were having sex and stuff. And I was like, it's none of your business. She's like, it is my business. That's my son. I'm like, no, it's not your fucking business, lady. I was like, what the fuck? You know, some people go too far. So maybe it's time to break up with this person. Sometimes people just have to cut the ties. So the other medicine in here is interesting. We were just talking about Mars. The astrological association with this card is Mars. The deities are Mars, is that Thoth, and Zeus. The keywords are change of plans, revelation of secrets, upheaval, a blow to the ego, situations coming to a head, reevaluation, dramatic change, and the removal of blocks in your spiritual path. It says the Tower card is all about a shocking revelation or an event that forever changes the way you see yourself and the people around you. This is not necessarily a negative thing. Now that all of that built up pressure has been released from the Tower, the fire inside will both cleanse and transform it. Shocking secrets are uncovered. You may take a blow to the ego, but you will survive your tumble. Change is coming, and it's going to be dramatic. The spiritual blocks or obstacles you once faced are now removed. What you learn will end up being helpful in the long run. Wow. So that's your ultimate goal, because, you know, it can't always be like your ultimate, like, what's my ultimate goal? Like, what's what's my path? What's my purpose? It's like, no, sometimes your goal is like an ending. And that's what the Tower card is. It's all about endings and new beginnings. And the fact that this was a 5-card spread in chapter 5, fives are about change and transformation. I think you have all the answers that you need. If you need any more answers, if you're drawn to the other readings, go check them out. Otherwise, there'll be more readings in the description box. And I think that's it, you guys. Do we have any more messages for reading 2 at this time? Do we want to go over anything else? Did I miss anything? Any other messages or channeled messages of any kind? Nope, that's it, you guys. All my information, if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, or if you'd like to contribute to the work on this channel, there are links all over. Remember, prayer is free. But until next time, take really good care of yourselves and each other. Blessed full moon in Taurus. We love you. See you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye.
Welcome, reading 3. You chose the Witch's Tarot and Schindler's List. I will put a link in the description box of the music if you're not familiar with it. The movie is beautiful. I can go on and on and on, and I don't know if it'll tie in. The other readings, there were tie-ins a little bit, but I feel like it was just more like breadcrumbs to follow to the messages that we all need to hear. I've been getting messages as well through all of these readings. They're very powerful. So, blessed full moon in Taurus. As you can hear, it's raining. We're hours away from the moon getting to its peak and its supermoon phase. But because there's obviously a rainstorm going on, I can't really see the moon right now, although I have my drapes drawn. Anyway, when I looked up, it was 1:18:06. So I don't know if that means anything to anybody. Okay, so today we were drawn to use one of the tarot spreads from the complete book of tarot spreads. And it is the pentagram. I'm going to try and get in here without setting the book on fire. Hold on. See where the candle, like the candle's reflecting there, making it look really cool, but I do need it for light as well, so you're going to see it move around. Just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit, just so you guys can see this, and then I can move it back. But I want you to see how cool and powerful this is. Oopsie. Okay, so this is the spread. It's called the pentagram. And the most interesting thing is
is it's a 5-card spread, and it's from chapter 5. And the full moon will be at its peak on the 5th of November. And I've been seeing this trink of 5, like these, this kind of trifecta, but with the 5s. And 5s are about change and transformation. And full moons are about celebration, but they're also about release and letting go. So even if this were, if I had a different layout, I would lay them out in this circle. But because I don't do it that way, it'll go from left to right, and it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And here are the questions. Number 1, or it's not even questions. Some of them, they're basically like statements. Some are like a question. Number 1, this is where you came from. Number 2, this is where you're going. Number 3, this is what is difficult for you. Number 4, this is what makes sense. And number 5, this is your ultimate goal. But it could be a question too. It could be one, is this where I come from? Is this where I'm going? Is this what's difficult for me? Is this what makes sense for me? Or is this my ultimate goal? So let's jump into the cards. They don't always have me pull the cards before the reading, but when they do, I take it very seriously, because it's their story, it's your story that's unraveling for all of you that chose reading 3 and Schindler's List. Now, if you're not familiar with Schindler's List, it's based on World War II, and it's about what happened with the Nazis and the Jewish people, and how the Nazis tried to literally extinguish a group of people that had a belief system, right? And so also, I got the chills. Also, in Schindler's List, Oskar Schindler was a man who was like a double agent, basically. I haven't seen it in years, but it's based on a true story. And he played both sides to the middle so that he can rescue and save people. And he's very revered for all of the things that he's done. But I also would be remiss not to mention that it is linked to the ancestors. So there could be something in here for you as well. And the fact that came up, and this is the Witch's Tarot, there could be something that's lingering for you and your past and your family. Oh gosh, when I look down, it was 122, 23. So if you were drawn to reading 2, there was a lot of progression in there. It was interesting. Reading 1 and reading 2 were so different, but also had similarities. So I'm interested to see where this reading goes. But there's definitely, I think, a tie into that. As witches, we understand that. We understand that kind of genocide. A lot of witches, or people who were killed for being witches, weren't even witches at all. And it's like, and then it goes to define, like, what's a witch and what does that mean? I always say to you guys, the witches and healers and deep down believers in magic, it's all the same thing. Witches, in my experience, come from the angel realm. We're here to help humankind, learning from the earth, as above, so below, learning from our star family as well, and not being ignorant to the fact that there is something, really significant about killing people for what they believe in. So let's see what your first card is, because I'm like, wow, okay, so this is where you come from. Oh, wow. The 3 of Swords. Heartbreak. Could be a third party. Also, there's little fairies flying around there. This could be, because I saw 2 children, it could also be that maybe you lost a child, or maybe when you were growing up, one of your siblings died when you were a child. I just watched this movie. I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, I'm thinking of that, and that's what made me think of it when I saw the two fairies. So it could be something, and actually I think there may be three fairies. Let me look in the light. No, there's two fairies. There's two fairies, and there's like these purple flowers. And it's interesting that one of the fairies is purple and it matches the purple flowers. The one on top. I feel like we need to talk about that. So let's go into the book and see what it says about the Three of Swords. Okay. It says, when the Three of Swords is dealt in a reading, it causes a visceral reaction. This is a brutally tough card. There is no polite or soft way to put it. When the Three of Swords turns up in a reading, it's like a sucker punch to the stomach. It hurts. This card, more than any other, illustrates the pain and loss that the querent is, and that's the person asking the question, is experiencing at this time. What you need to understand is that you will have to take the pain into your heart and accept it, shed your tears, and then move beyond it. Once you have accepted the pain and experienced the grief, then and only then can you move forward. This card may also stand for a delay to a project and plans, or the painful karmic repercussions that are experienced when a manipulative spell backfires on the caster. Interesting. It's also on page 134, and I literally heard the 2 is missing. It's like you missed a step, or like, I don't know how to explain it. And this is number 1. This is where you came from. So I feel like there's something you need to go back and look at and revisit. And interesting that it's 134, right? And it's like 3 numbers, just like there's 3 swords in that heart, but the 2 is missing. And it could be that, like, maybe there, and for some of you, it could be that there were 2 of you and then a third party came in, because a lot of times that's what this represents. Not always, but I definitely feel that. The keywords are delay, personal betrayal, loss, a time of drama and tears, sadness, and conflict. A spell that has backfired. Also, if you are casting spells, my beautiful witches, like, remember that our words and our thoughts have power. That's spell casting. So if you're thinking negatively against someone, or you're, just remember, it's going to come back. And right now, the way karma is working, she's fucking right there, man. You do something, bam, she's there, she's there, she's there, she's there. This isn't like the old days where it's like, well, it'll be okay and everything will be fine. It's like, no, it won't be fine, right? Also, even though it's not in reversed, I want to bring up this energy because it's connected to the card, and it could be part of, like, where this is where you came from. Destruction, strife, the healing process is blocked. Until you work through your grief, you will not be able to move on. Okay, so let's see what number 2 is. Number 2 is, this is where you're going. Ooh, 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 look at that. It didn't even put out the fire. That's pretty powerful. This is where you're going. Interesting. Okay, so, oh my gosh, the book is moving by itself. I dropped this card, so I don't know if I think it was upside down, but whenever that happens, I take it that we're going to read both. So we have the 3 of Wands. Wow, this is crazy, you guys. I think it was in reading 1 where they had the same numbers. Like, I don't want to give too much away. If you're drawn to reading 1, go check it out. But if not, but I'm almost positive it was reading 1 that, like, almost all the cards, or at least like over half the cards, had 3 or more, had the same number. And now look at, you've got the 3 of Hearts and now the 3 of Wands. That's really interesting. So take that for, oh, I just got the chills. So take that for what it means in your story, right? Oh my gosh, it's like the wands like disappeared. There they are. That was so bizarre. It's like I went right past the whole entire chapter. Okay, so when the Three of Wands turns up in a reading, it illustrates a time of expectation. Now remember, this is where you're going, okay? So the person asking the question may be waiting for news about a project or a proposal. The overall theme of this card is optimism and active waiting. Good. Stay in the high vibration. That's beautiful. I'm so proud of you. It shows the beginning of a project and the hope that comes from making plans for a new career or life. Remember that things are always in motion. Nothing is at rest and change is constant. The Three of Wands usually represents the person receiving the reading. This card may also be nudging you towards taking one. Oh, interesting. I said one, but it really says be nudging you towards taking on more of a leadership role at work or in your coven. This is a time of expansion and growth. Be like the Watcher in the Three of Wands. Keep a sharp eye and allow events to unfold. There is reason to be optimistic and to have hope. The future looks bright. The keywords are active waiting, everything is in constant motion, expansion, growth, taking on a leadership role, keeping an eye on your future goals, and the future looks bright. The reversed is unrealistic expectations, disagreement with coworkers, conflicting spiritual views with coven mates. Interesting. We spoke about a lot of things from work stuff and reading too as well, and partnerships like relationships. So you may, if you're drawn to that, you may want to go check it out. That's interesting. Let me ask them, do you want me to read this part? Okay. So we're going to go on to number 3. This is what is difficult for you. And interesting the way they have this set up, you guys, because it's like number 3 is in the back. And I was like, nobody puts baby in the corner. You know what I mean? I was like, why so far back? I'm like, what's going on? But there's also this very like kind of devilish demonic energy that's like coming out of there. It feels like the shadow. And it's interesting because it's, number 3 is, this is what is difficult for you. And I have a feeling this is going to give you a lot of answers and insight into what your blockages are for your release. Oh, the King of Cups. You know, the King of Cups could represent a person. Cups are water. So it could be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Now, we are in Scorpio season. You know, so it could be connected to that as well. But that's interesting. This is what is difficult for you. So I feel like we want to put this up forward. Let's see if I can get it in there. Oh my gosh. I wanted to be so pervy for a second. Not that I wanted to, just like talk about programming. Okay. So the King of Cups. I'm like, what's burning? And then I realized that I had accidentally, but look at that smoke, you guys. Look at how magical that freaking smoke is right now. It is like dancing around. Do you see it coming out of the right-hand corner? It was the sage. It's like it started burning itself. This is how powerful and witchy you guys are. So listen to this. So this is number 3, and this is what is difficult for you. But it's the King of Cups. So astrological association sign is Scorpio. The associated elements are water and air. Water is the suit of cups related natural element, while all 4 of kings are associated with the wise and thoughtful element of air. So air is also like swords. So it could be somebody who, like, maybe when you get readings, you see them as the King of Swords because it's an air sign. So that could be Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Okay. So I just think it's kind of interesting because it's like, this is what is difficult for you. So I feel like this is the situation that is difficult for you, is something in that. So it could be you or them or both are water and or air. And in the keywords says a water sign man, a married, mature man, well vested in the craft, a loving husband and father, a good friend, a wise counselor, a creative personality, the gifts of intuition and wisdom that comes from experience. And it says, a mature wise man who is well versed in the craft. This card represents an individual who's artistic, intuitive, creative, and passionate. Also, you guys, it's on page 123. 1, 2, 3. Remember I was just saying before I was like 134, it was like it was missing the 2. It's like, so I feel like this is interesting because this is what is difficult for you. Oh, I feel like we got to get more pieces. We got to get more pieces. I'm going to read the rest as we're going to get more pieces from 4 and 5. Okay, this card represents an individual who's artistic, intuitive, creative, and passionate. Physically, he has dark blonde to light brown hair with a touch of gray and blue or green eyes. They don't have to, but they're just saying for somebody who's like, is this my reading? Maybe this will align with you. He is a good friend, a loving and attentive husband, and a devoted father. The King of Cups, good, solid advice when asked. The King of Cups gives good, solid advice when asked. This card can represent a quiet man who keeps his emotions to himself, but who can be moody. He is, however, deeply emotional, and he has a tough outer shell to disguise a very soft and loving interior. He often sees what most people would prefer to keep hidden. This card represents an individual who is an excellent mediator, psychically talented, and strong and fair. The lesson from the King of Cups is that wisdom comes from looking within. Temper your counsel of others with compassion and affection. Interesting. So this is what's difficult for you. And maybe this could even, if this is either representing an actual person, or this could be representing you and whoever you are watching this and your divine masculine. Like this could be, you know, this side of you, and maybe it's difficult for you to show your emotions. You know, maybe that's how you are, even though it's upright. Could be a Scorpio too. So let's get to, I got to jump to 4 because I feel like there's more to this story. Number 4, this is what makes sense. Remember, this was also that one that they said, this is what makes sense for me. Wow, you guys, hold on. Is that what I think it is? It is. Number 9, the Hermit. Okay, so if you haven't watched the group reading yet, I highly suggest you check it out. I will put a link in the description box because it came up in the other readings as well. It's also the number 9. We are in a 9 year, and I'm getting from Spirit that they want us to really go inward, especially for us in the Northern Hemisphere that are going into like that winter mode of getting, you know, I also just got from Spirit, I'm getting a download because it says this is what makes sense. And I'm hearing for you, yeah, like going into the hermit mode. That's what makes sense for you right now. But that's for all of us. And I was getting that until February when we go into the year of the horse. We're meant to like really let go and say goodbye to these old versions of ourselves, and we're going to keep hitting brick walls until we finally set our souls free and become who we were meant to be. So this says the astrological sign, as most of us know, is Virgo. The deity associations are Hermes, the traveler, and Saturn. The keywords are reflection, meditation, intuition, taking time off from the coven, your group, your people, solitary work, spending some time alone out in nature, and gaining enlightenment. This is what makes sense for your path right now. Okay, that's what they're saying. The Hermit card is all about taking purposeful time off, standing alone, and looking within. When this card appears in a reading, it is a sign that you need to take some downtime for yourself and regroup. Now is the time for vision questing, reflection, intuition, meditation, and self-development. It is time to work your magic solitary for a while, even if you're a member of a coven. Trust in yourself and in your gut hunches, and take some personal time to see where this leads you. Let your magic light the way, no matter what challenges you're facing. And remember, coven could be family, community, could even be significant other. I mean, I'm really getting that vibe. And it might be for some of us, you know, I mean, yeah, you know, engage in the holidays if you feel like you want to engage, but also don't just engage in the holiday, you know, affairs just because you feel like you should, or, you know, if you don't want to go, don't go. You know, there's always next year. And if there's not next year, I'm sure you had some good ones at some point, you know, but I'm sure you're going to be here too, you know. I'm just saying, like, The next card is the Wheel of Fortune, or what they call in this deck, the Wheel of the Year, number 10. And that's what next year is. 2026 is number 10. It's about completion. It's about really like walking away and walking out of those old skins, those old, we're in the year of the snake. We're going into the year of the horse. The year of the horse is about freedom. It's about really, truly being our authentic selves, whatever that is. And it's going to be different for each of us. But this is what makes sense for you right now. And literally in the group reading that I just posted, it was so crazy. Like, I was wondering if the Hermit card would come up, and here it is. It makes sense, especially with this deck. Okay, so number 5 is, this is your ultimate goal. Ooh, look at that. You're like, but I don't want to be a hermit. They're like, but you need to be a hermit. This is your ultimate goal. Let's see if I can get in here. Oh my gosh, the book is like seriously doing some crazy shit right now. So we have the 6 of Cups. I love this. There's 2 cute kids playing there. Let's see what Spirit has to say about the 6 of Cups. I feel like the 6 of Cups wants to go on top of the Hermit. Sorry, I just stuck my finger in there. Okay. I just wanted you guys to get a closer look at this. Okay. So this is your ultimate goal. Number 5. This card symbolizes happy memories from your childhood, old friends and family, and your past, which is very interesting. That's what I was saying about the Schindler's List. I felt like it was really, I kept thinking we were going to use the past life deck for this because they gave me the music before they gave me that it was going to be tarot readings. And I thought for sure for Schindler's List, we were going to work with some type of past life or dark mirror or something to do with that. And so it's really powerful that this is coming up right now, because I do think that there's some tie to that. So this card symbolizes happy memories from your childhood, old friends and family, and your past. It can indicate reunions, a surprise visit from a family member or classmate whom you may not have seen in years, a forgotten friend from your old stomping grounds, a former coven member who moved away, or a childhood sweetheart who may be making a return appearance in your life. The 6 of Cups may also be a notice that you need to adopt a more childlike type of wonder for the world. It's also on page 99, which is so crazy because we were just talking about 9s. That's interesting. To have, okay, so adopt a more childlike type of wonder for the world around you. Let your imagination guide you into a new creative project. Believe in magic again, and magic with a K, the old way, right? The keywords are happy memories, old friends, childhood family, and school reunions. Let your imagination soar. Believe in magic again. They said it twice. This is your ultimate goal, is to believe in magic again. So, it's interesting because the next one is the 7 of Cups, and it has this like kind of wizard on there that's like, I feel like he's like, turn back, like go back to, it's the pentagram spread, like it's like they're trying to tell you to like go back to who you are and like who you are meant to be. Also, I feel like this has a lot to do with like heartbreak of family. There's definitely, and oh my gosh, you guys, did you notice this? At the beginning, there's 2 fairies, and at the end, there's like 2 little children. Oh my gosh, so powerful. And I was feeling a lot of real heavy masculine energy here until I realized there's, I feel like there's like, that's what it feels like, divine feminine, divine masculine. It's like, get back to that childlike fairy. It's like the stuff in the middle is what's causing the heartache and the grief. Go inward so you can figure that out. Like that's what I feel like they're trying to say, like go inward to work through that and figure it out. Like, what is it that you need to leave behind now so that you can totally move forward and step into your role. I mean, look at this. It's like you're ready to go. You're already, I mean, look at where the light is too. It's like your third eye, your crown chakra, your throat chakra, like you're just burst wide open. And that's interesting too, because that's on number 2. This is where you're going, right? It's like, where am I going? That's a good question. Where are you going? And this is what's difficult for you. So it could be a father figure. I just got the chills. It could be a father figure, or it could be your own self. It could be the voice of like your father in your head, or someone who maybe you looked up to and respected that's holding you back. Oh, I just got the chills. And look at the hermit's like kind of on a cliff. I think some of you I'm getting this fear energy, like you're afraid to look back. And the hermit's trying to help you though. He's like, look at, he's illuminating this light for you. He's trying to show you how it's all connected. You know, I've been having these conversations with spirit lately. I really think there's an inner earth, and I don't care if anybody thinks I'm crazy, and maybe it's another dimension and maybe it's another planet. I don't know. But I do think that there is something to that. I think there's something in inner earth. And I think the reason why, like on outer earth, like we have like all this conflict and whatever, it's like, it's kind of like, it's like, this is how we get electricity. You know what I'm saying? Like we're closest to like the outer realms of the universe. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, follow me if you follow me here. And I feel like a lot of us that are connected more to like the inner earth energy are really connected to like Gaia and Lemuria, and that kind of, you know, using the earth elements to get power, right? Like using the sun. And for all we know, you know, there could be these volcanoes that their light comes in and they like refract the light with, you know what I mean? And it's like it's sunshine down there, and they use water. I mean, I don't know. And I don't know who this is for, but I feel like you're afraid to believe in fairies, or you're afraid to believe in witches, or you're afraid it's not real. You know, and I remember having this conversation with certain people, and you know, because I was raised Christian as well. And it took me years. Thank goddess. I always kind of knew there was some weird bullshit going on with Christianity. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, this, it doesn't make sense. I was like, for me, I was like, why would we be given these amazing brains that like tell us that this like it, and it wasn't even that my brain was telling me that it didn't make sense. It was like my gut told me it didn't make sense. Like I believe in magic, but yet when I'd hear the stories in church, and my favorite story, because it's one of the funniest ones, and it's how I got kicked out of Sunday school when I was around 8 years old, and that's because when she was telling the story of the Noah's Ark, and I was just like, so there were 2 gnats and 2 butterflies, and like I just went through like I was just being a kind of a brat, but yet that to me, that's magic, right? Like, yeah, if that's true, right? But I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. I was like, I just don't believe the whole planet, you know, flooded and they were the only people and the only, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's true. But I just had a hard time. Yet I will believe that there are fairies and elvish in the inner earth. So I don't know, right? Like I think we believe or we feel what we feel. But don't be afraid to feel magic, or to, you know, start questioning things. Maybe you need to delve more into fairies, or research them, or dress like one. I don't know, but I'm hearing like, don't be afraid. Let the hermit, the light of the hermit, guide your way to the past of your childhood. When you stopped, it's like, ask yourself when you stopped believing. Do you even know? How old were you? When did you stop believing in magic, like true magic? Do you believe in magic now? I mean, you're here, right? You must believe in something. Something magical, something spiritual, something you can't explain, something bigger than you. Your gut pulled you here. Your intuition tells you there's something more. And look at, it's so interesting too, because if there is a certain figure, a father figure that is blocking you, look at how directly they are in the center. I mean, it's kind of interesting the way that these cards were pulled, and that this is number 3, like what's blocking you. And they're just staring at you. They're just staring at you. Like, what is going on? What's happening? Or is that you trying to help guide yourself back to that energy, to your emotions, to your heart? Maybe it's all of the above. You know, the divine masculine is pretty intense. So it's part of you. We all have divine feminine and masculine. The whole point is getting it balanced. We are in Libra moon, Scorpio season, and the full moon is in Taurus. So we're dealing with earth, we're dealing with water, and we're dealing with air. And look at this. The only thing, you don't have any pentacles in there, no earth. But I would say, I feel like the Virgo is, because the Hermit, because it's an earth sign. But also look at the water coming out of the fountain where the littles are, all the way to the right. And maybe your heart was broken when you were a child. And that's why it's hard for you to see yourself, your world, in any other way. I'm going to move this for a minute so you can, you know, maybe it is time to really look at things from a different perspective. Because even if you know, oh my gosh, you know how we always talk about the maiden, mother, and crone? Well, we don't talk about the boy, the man, and the elder. And that's what's happening. There's definitely something going on. Whatever you resonate with, inwardly, outwardly, this is definitely your divine masculine talking to you. Because, I mean, it's kind of cool. I didn't really see it before, but there's 3 swords here, right? Well, we've got a young man, we've got like a father figure, and we have like a grandfather figure. And then it's down to 2 children. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to be a girl. It could be a boy. It could be 2 little boys with blonde hair. And this could even be representing, if, you know, this is the first time this came through, you guys, but for reading 3, this could actually be about your person. This could actually be about your person. This isn't even about you. It's about you because it's affecting your life. But it could be about what their challenges are and what they need to work with and release. And maybe this is to give you some clarity and some insight to help them through it, or to even just hold space for them while they're working through it. Because I feel like, yeah, I feel like the Hermit kind of in a weird way reminds me of the Hierophant too, in a weird way. And we spoke about the Hierophant, I think it was in reading 1. Did we finish reading the book? I got so into this. I'm like, did we finish reading the book? Oh, so they said, even though it wasn't in reverse, the last card, number 5, which is, this is your ultimate goal. In reverse, it says, unhappy memories, feeling sad over an ended relationship, and losing your joy and magic. So it could be that for some of you, your ultimate goal is to find your inner light again, to find your magic. And to do that is to work with the divine masculine, no matter what you identify with. It's about working with your divine masculine. And that's been coming up a lot because that's where a lot of our wounds are, especially for women. You know, I know growing up, I was told one thing and then shown another. And then when I'd call my parents on their hypocrisy, you know, it was like I was basically an asshole. And I was like, I'm an asshole because I'm calling you out on your shit. You know what I mean? But not everybody can handle that. All right, let's see. Do we have any more messages for reading 3 at this time? Do you want me to read anything else from the books, or do you have any more insight or clarity for them on the cards? Okay, that's it, you guys. I really hope this helped you in any way. There were so many stories going on at once. Always remember to use your intuition, and don't make something your story if it's not your story. And if you're watching this when you're really emotional, maybe take a breath, come back and watch it again when you're feeling a little more grounded and centered, because you may have a different answer, okay? Because I do feel like there are some of you that are feeling really highly emotional around this reading right now. And like I said, there were so many stories within this one story. So take it for what it is. And remember that the full moon energy is about celebration, and it's also about release. Time to let go. We've got a few more months. It's only the 4th of November in real time. But we have November, December. We have 3 months, a little over 3 months before the year of the horse comes in. So focus this time and energy over these next few months on moving forward and releasing and letting go of those, especially the blockages, because I can't get over the way that card is just staring at us in the middle there. You know, it's almost like, it's kind of like it's like working its way in. I don't know how to explain it, but all right. I hope it helped you. I love you. Spirit loves you. All of my information is on this channel, and in the description box, there's little breadcrumbs to watch other readings and any other sources. Until next time, okay? Take really good care of yourselves and each other. I love you. Blessed be. Ow.